Nutritional disclaimer. Please pause if needed to read. Please like, share, and subscribe. Vegan food near you, San Diego.
News 8 has been showcasing San Diego's Black-owned businesses.
Today we're featuring Rollin' Roots. Take a look at this one. Their food is so good. The food truck serves a lot of creative plant-based dishes, and the owner, Avante Hartsfield, says you don't have to be vegan to enjoy his food.
Everything has French fries in it. The sauces are all homemade. It's not typical health food. Definitely, it's pretty good.
I mean, look at that sandwich. That's vegan, you guys. That's made of plants, and it's hearty and good stuff. They've become very popular, by the way, and they're right around the corner from us. You can find them on Armour Street in Kearney Mesa. He's been working hard, really saw a boost during the end of the pandemic after an Instagram post, and he just became viral over the struggles that so many restaurants have been dealing with, and now doing pretty well.
So many things don't taste vegan anymore.
Exactly. If you do know of an outstanding Black-owned business here in San Diego, get on the News 8 app and click Near Me, upload a photo or a video and a description, and then enter its location so everyone knows where to find it.
Bringing the light.
2020 is coming to a close. We made it, y'all. As we look forward to 2021, AfroVegan Society needs your support. We're providing resources and support to help people in marginalized communities. Our goal is simple: make vegan living accessible to everyone. Since May, we've hosted 7 free online events. From the Dump Dairy Workshop series to Plant Power to the People, we featured 29 speakers. We've shared nearly 60 vegan recipes on our website. We've got meals and recipes for morning, noon, and night. We've streamed 17 cooking demos featuring Black vegan chefs from across the country. We've highlighted over 100 Black-owned vegan restaurants and built a vibrant online community, uplifting the Black vegan experience. We have so much more planned for 2021. We need your support to make it happen. You can donate on our website at AfroVeganSociety.org. Become a monthly supporter on Patreon, or pick up some of our merch over at Teespring. Every bit helps. Together, we can create a healthier, kinder, sustainable, and more just future.
And now the VSF Market Reports.
Here's the surprisingly Black history of veganism. If your only mental picture of veganism is white ladies and Lululemon knocking back shots of wheatgrass, then you're way off. In fact, you may be surprised to find out that this new veganism trend is actually not that new. And it's not all that white either. In fact, veganism can be traced back over 2,000 years to the ancient cultures in India, the Mediterranean basin, and, drumroll please, Africa. Now, when it comes to a lot of traditional Black American cuisine, you wouldn't be wrong to say that it features, well, a lot of meat. But this hasn't always been the case.
There's always been like this river of African Americans who've been pioneers in the vegan movement. Originally, there were plants and people were eating plants. I mean, that's the natural thing for us to eat. That's what we gravitated towards. That's what looked good to us. That's what our bodies were made to eat. So this is just nothing new.
But this vegan tradition changed when European adventurers, aka colonizers, introduced more commercial farming methods, which produced a lot more animals, but also fewer indigenous crops. So the veganism of today is actually more of a nod to the traditions of Africa rather than a recent phenomenon. Now, while the vegans of yesteryear were largely driven out of necessity, these days, folks from all backgrounds are going vegan for a whole host of practical, personal, and philosophical reasons. And thanks to Google, there's a whole smorgasbord of information to back these reasons up. Like the study from the American Society of Animal Science that calls out how bad livestock production is for the planet. Turns out that 2.8 gigatons of toxic gas from cow boo-boo isn't all that great for the environment. Or the recent study from the American Heart Association that details the benefits of a plant-based diet. But if you still think that veganism is more for Becky than for B, here's another study for you. It's been reported that Black people are more than twice as likely to be vegan than the average US citizen. Guess the proverbial cookout is about to get a whole lot greener.
I never, ever, ever, ever thought that I would be a vegan. My sophomore year, Dick Gregory came to campus and he talked about the plight of Black America and how unhealthily most folks eat and why we should become vegetarian. That talk literally rocked my entire world. Within a year, I was a vegetarian, and within a year and a half, I went vegan.
I started out as an anti-racist activist, and it wasn't until I started reading some more like animal rights scholarship that I thought like, well, how do actual animals factor into this racial conversation? And so a lot of Black veganism is not just about Black people eating like kale or whatever. It's talking about the world, talking about oppression in a totally different way, and re-envisioning a more liberatory world, taking into account animal experiences as well.
There are no shortage of prominent Black vegans either, as with game changers like Colin Kaepernick, Taraji P. Henson, Erykah Badu, Jay-Z, and A$AP Rocky. Dang, that's a whole lot of rappers. Well, that's no coincidence. Hip-hop and veganism lately are going together like Kanye and a muted color palette. In fact, plants are so hot right now, there's even a rapper who goes by the name of Casey Veggies. And he's not vegan, but he likes big beats and he can't lie. Okay, that was bad. And there you have it, folks. Veganism is for everyone.
An apple a day health tip.
New research suggests that a low-calorie diet might help reverse symptoms of type 2 diabetes in men with obesity. The findings of this study add to a growing body of evidence indicating that diabetes is a reversible condition. Authors of this study looked at 18 men in South Africa who were over the age of 35, had class 3 obesity, and were on insulin treatment for diabetes. The participants were randomized into one of two groups. One followed by a commercially available low-fat, low-calorie diet consisting of vegetables and a vegetable soup-based meal plan, while the control group received a calorie-restricted meal plan. All participants were encouraged to engage in physical activity according to their abilities and to visit a counseling psychologist at least once a month. Over the course of 6 months, the team tracked the men's levels of blood glucose and glycated hemoglobin, or HbA1c, using those measures to establish diabetes status. By the end of the study period, one participant's readings indicated complete remission of diabetes, while another suggested partial remission. Overall, the test group showed a significant increase in HDL cholesterol levels, greater weight loss, and lower HbA1c levels than the control group. The median daily dose of insulin for the test group decreased to less than half of what it was at the start of the trial. The results fit into a broader stream of evidence, hinting that substantial weight loss can reverse symptoms of type 2 diabetes. But the findings are not definitive. More studies on a larger, more varied sample population monitored over more than 6 months would help build a stronger case for the benefits of the nutrition intervention applied in the study. Still, the implications are encouraging. For at least one subset of patients with type 2 diabetes, the specially designed, low-calorie diet could be safe and effective in establishing a healthier lifestyle.
Now a partner production program.
For each delivery, we put together a great seasonal selection of local organic produce and deliver it directly to your doorstep. But if you would like to tinker with your box, it only takes a few minutes. In just a few clicks, you can easily get more of what you want. Feel blah about beets? Replace them with heirloom tomatoes. After picking your produce, you can also add artisan farm products. As part of our family farm, we want you to get the fruits and vegetables that you and your family want.
Cookbooks and Recipes with Bryant Terry, chef, author.
This morning on a special edition of The Dish, we introduce you to Bryant Terry. He's a James Beard Award-winning chef, educator, author, and activist. But these days, you won't find him in a restaurant. Instead, he's the chef in residence at a San Francisco museum where he celebrates the intersection of food and culture while encouraging us all to create a more equitable and sustainable food system.
I would argue that this is the recipe that's the foundation of my new book. So
Okay.
It's a citrus and garlic herb braised fennel.
Not many people get excited about fennel. Not like Chef Bryant Terry.
Have you had cooked fennel?
I'm sure I've had it. You know, culture. You know that, right?
I do know that.
In his new cookbook, Vegetable Kingdom, his fifth to date, the James Beard Award winner presents recipes focused on some 30 vegetables.
Can you smell the anise-like?
Yes.
Flavor.
Oh, yes. Hoping to once again lure readers to the bounty of a plant-based diet.
My personal transformation, when I was in high school, it was a hip-hop song.
Boogie Down Productions rap Beef by KRS-One.
You mind if I kick the lyrics?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so it goes like this. Beef, what a relief. When will this poisonous product cease?
Let us begin now with the cow, the way it gets to your plate and how.
21 different drugs are pumped into the cow in one big lump. It gets much more graphic, so I'm gonna stop there.
Chef Terry is unapologetically vegan. What about those folks out there who are daunted by the idea of veganism?
I tell people, just ease into it. Meatless Mondays, vegan before 6. Try maybe going 1 or 2 meals without meat. You know, I think this idea that you're gonna be missing something could be counterbalanced by really exploring all the interesting, diverse vegetables like fennel.
Fennel aside, his day job
My name is Brian. I'm the chef in residence here in Moab.
is as the inaugural chef in residence with the Museum of African Diaspora.
I think that this museum is a symbol. It's a beacon. It's a place where I think our people can find refuge. I'm so blessed that they let me curate this.
In 2015, he was charged with expanding the conversation on African American food in a city with a rapidly declining black population.
That's what is so special about this museum to me, is that it connects all the people of African descent throughout the globe.
It's an idea close to home for a father of 2 who says he wrote his book for his daughters.
When people think about plant-based eating, so often we imagine it as these practices of upper middle class white suburbanites, right? And I think it's important for me to recognize that my introduction to these ideas came from black people.
Recipes inspired by traditional soul food, where greens and legumes were the stars.
So this is a roasted potato and cabbage dish with the carrot puree at the bottom, and we drizzle a little ginger habanero sauce on top. What do you think?
Shut your mouth. The genesis of his professional culinary education came while earning his graduate degree in history at NYU.
I was taking the subway and I see this group of young people, children, at 7 o'clock in the morning, eating chips, candy bars, drinking sodas. And it just hit me that, you know, these young people were eating, but they were eating empty calories. You know, this wasn't real food.
It was then he started Be Healthy, which helped kids make smarter choices about food. That led him to the chef's training program at the Natural Gourmet Institute. His inspiration behind it all?
So I'm also going to introduce Erica Huggins.
The woman he invited to speak at the museum earlier this month.
That I joined the Black Panther Party.
I would say Erica Huggins is one of my primary influences for wanting to start an organization that taught children about food.
Erica Huggins organized community programs as a member of the Black Panther Party, that revolutionary political organization founded in 1966 by Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton.
They were responding to police violence against black citizens right across the bridge in Oakland, California. The most important work that they were doing, which was largely done by women, they were doing everything like having ambulance services to take people to the hospital. They had free clinics. They had grocery giveaways, where they were giving away thousands of pounds of groceries to low-income residents of the Bay Area, and they had a program called the Free Breakfast for Children program, whose aim was feeding young people a hot, nourishing breakfast every single morning.
Real food, like the kind from his grandfather's backyard in Mississippi, which closely resembles today's farmers markets and CSAs. Communities really shared, neighbors shared with one another.
My grandfather would be like, I'm gonna give you a bag of walnuts, you give me some of those pears. He had so much that he would give it away to all his children. He would take the surplus to church. It was a thriving local food system, and what saddens me is when I go back there and it's just a shell of itself.
It's a nationwide problem. According to the USDA, 14 million households in America don't have access to affordable and nutritious food, which can add to dangerously high rates of hypertension, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers.
There was a study about this neighborhood, West Oakland, California, in 2008, and they found that there were 53 corner stores and liquor stores in this community, and not one single supermarket. Not one single supermarket. And so I wonder, what if we shifted that? What if we went back to that thriving local food system? How would that impact the public health in that community?
The Memphis native has partnered with allies like his mentor Alice Waters, the Berkeley food activist and owner of the legendary Chez Panisse. But ultimately, he is motivating communities to lead the charge themselves.
This food movement has just exploded. A lot of people are thinking about creative ways of kind of regaining our food system, taking it back from the multinational corporations, having local, seasonal, sustainable food systems.
And you become a food justice advocate.
Advocate, activist, it depends on who you ask. We have a history and legacy of eating, healthful foods, but because of our fast food culture, so many of us have forgotten about that. It's almost like this cultural amnesia.
For Terry, it's really about feeding the mind, body, and soul of all people.
I want people to understand the diversity and complexity of our cuisine and not just pigeonhole it. I'm helping people remember that these are our legacies, these are our histories, and it's really a matter of kind of looking back as we move forward.
And Terry really has had an impact. I mean, his work with Alice Waters from Chez Panisse, as I mentioned, he talked about that West Oakland neighborhood that didn't have a supermarket. Well, they have one now.
That's
and
great.
It's really interesting to see how motivating people to take charge can make a difference.
Good stuff.
Great piece, yeah.
Exactly. Right.
And Black Vegan Talk, a word or two from us.
Wait. Before you go, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm not going to talk about all the pain and suffering that's done to animals in order to provide you meat that you don't need. I'm not going to talk about the many diseases associated with eating meat, such as cancer and diabetes and high blood pressure. This is not going to be one of those videos, okay? This is going to be a very practical way to transition over to becoming vegan or even just adapting a plant-based diet, okay? Now, first and foremost, let me just tell you the differences between the two. When you are plant-based, that means that you are focusing strictly on the diet, meaning that you're not eating any animal products, okay? No animal products, no dairy, no fish, okay? Fish is considered a meat, all right? No fish, all right? And if you are vegan, you are adapting that diet, but you are also adapting the lifestyle where you're trying to minimize the cause of suffering and harm to animals. So you might wear certain clothing that's vegan, where it's made in certain shops. You won't wear leather. You'll basically adapt the lifestyle of how can I reduce the amount of harm that I'm causing on the planet as well as the animals, okay? So that's the vegan lifestyle. That means you're looking at your products, your toothpaste, all that good stuff. That's a vegan. This is a plant-based diet, okay? So let's get right on into it. The number one thing that helped me transition directly from being somebody who was pescatarian over to being vegan was going to restaurants, okay? Going to vegan restaurants. It wasn't a book, okay? Although this is helpful, China study, all right? It was me going to restaurants. Now let me explain, okay? when you are a carnivore, when you are somebody who eats meat, most of the time there are things that hold you back from becoming vegan. And most of the time, the real reason is we don't want to give up certain foods that we like. Let's just keep it real. For me, it was pizza, it was pasta, it was lasagna. You know, I had my favorite Italian places, etc. I didn't want to give those things up. And I'm sure you got meals that you don't want to give up as well. So here's the thing that you have to look at. You simply have to replace the things that you like with the vegan alternative. And that can be exciting because now you sort of go on a journey to find, okay, what can I find that's similar to this? It's just like being in a relationship, right? When you're in a relationship and you break up with somebody, they always say that that gap of time between you not being with that person, you gotta fill in that void with something else. So they tell you to go work out, they tell you to, read books, they tell you to just, do things for yourself, right? Because you gotta fill in that time, hang out with your friends, etc. When you decide to go vegan, there's a void there, right? You're looking at your fridge, you're saying, yo, what am I gonna do with all these products, right? You gotta fill in that void. That means you gotta look for vegan cheese. That means you gotta look for alternatives for milk. The key thing is you have to find the alternative for the things that you like, okay? So why is going to restaurants important? Because in the beginning, you don't really know what the alternatives are. You don't really know what your options really are. So when you go to these vegan restaurants or you try these vegan options, you're gonna get to see how restaurants put together certain recipes. And then from there, you can take the idea and come home and do it yourself. And if you can't go to a restaurant, because I know some of you are saying, man, I ain't got the money to be going to restaurants every day. I feel you. There's Pinterest, there's Instagram, there's books like this, cooking books. The bottom line is you have to replace what it is that you love to eat with the alternative, guys. I'm Caribbean. There was foods that I loved, growing up, oxtails, jerk chicken, all these things that I loved. I had to find a substitute. And I'm here to tell you that there are many, many substitutes out there. There's seitan, there's tofu, there's all these things. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about protein and meat and all of that. Look, I haven't seen a single person die from protein deficiency, okay? Period. So let's stop all of that. You can find protein in a multitude of other sources, okay? You're not going to die from being protein deficient on a vegan diet. Let's just kill all of that noise. I'm still alive. I haven't eaten meat in 2 years, 2.5 years or so. So I'm living proof. I'm not a ghost, right? I'm right in front of you. I'm talking to you right now. So going to restaurants is going to help you because you're gonna look at the menus. You're gonna try different foods. You're gonna see how Brussels sprouts can be made. You're going to see how certain foods that you overlook when you go to the grocery store, you overlook kale, you overlook all these things, bok choy, all these things. And then when you go into a restaurant and then the way they saute it, because here's the thing, guys, it's not that you love meat, chicken, bacon, all this stuff. You love the flavor. You love how it's seasoned, guys. Because if I give you raw meat, you're not gonna bite into it and eat it. Let's just call it what it is. You're gonna cook it, you're gonna add some salt, pepper, whatever it is you're gonna add to it. It's the same thing with the vegan diet. All you gotta do is transfer your knowledge of seasoning, your knowledge of flavors over to a different world of food. Potatoes, carrots, broccoli, all these things you can finesse. Jackfruit, you can finesse all these foods to make them taste the way you want them to taste, okay? And I've had it all. I've had vegan lasagna, vegan pizza. Like I said, growing up in New York, big pizza head. But now they got restaurants in New York that sells vegan pizza that's off the chain. So it's the most critical thing that I think a person has to do, because at the end of the day, people tend to fall off because they have trouble with finding things to eat or making things on their own. Guys, there's an alternative for everything. Eggs, pancakes, you name it. Once you have an idea of those things, you can add your own twist to it and it becomes fun. It becomes exciting because now you're starting to challenge yourself. You're saying to yourself, you know what? Let me see if I could duplicate that curry recipe that I like. Let me see if I could duplicate this lasagna recipe, this brownie recipe with some vegan alternatives. And when people try it and they like, damn, this is the bomb, you're gonna feel really good, trust me. And so I'm telling you right now, I also have a cauliflower barbecue recipe on my page. I'm gonna leave the link down below. Guys, there's so many alternatives, so many options. It's a whole new world. Don't be scared of it, embrace it. But remember, there's many different options out there, but there's only one you. And your health is important, and that's number one. You are no use, no good to nobody out there if you're not in good health. So consider it, all right? That's it for this video today. It's your boy Built For Anything. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, like, share, all that good stuff. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you're gonna start this journey, and let me know what cool restaurants you have in mind. There's plenty of restaurants out here. I'm in Dallas, baby, and I still find some vegan options. So there is no excuse. This is barbecue city, okay? This is pork, barbecue, brisket city, and I'm still flourishing. So I don't wanna hear it. All right, guys, it's your boy. Peace and love. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out.
Thanks for watching our pilot episode. Here are the video clips in the order that they were played. And try the vegan